Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Coming up, Greece is good for guns. The slow death of the euro means that British gun shops are practically giving away rifles. We have new Stump, we have Hunting YouTube, we have Hello Charlie. First, can Americans lamp foxes? Lamping is not every hunter's bag. If it's not part of your culture, you may even regard it as a bit lowbrow, possibly, maybe, but it's effective when done properly, and it's harder than it looks. Tonight, Roy is out with his shooting buddy Chris and his friend Bob from the USA, who wants to remain anonymous for no other reason than he'd rather not be associated with Lupton. Bob is a hunter but tends to go after big country deer and elk, not illuminated Charlie. To give him a head start, Chris offers him a couple of classic lamping tips.
A couple of things that people find difficult to get used to whilst lamping is actually to be able to follow where the lamp is with the rifle. Quite often they will be trying to get down behind the gun and try and look for the lamp, and they can't, they struggle to find it. And by that time, normally the fox that you're trying to shoot has gone. So a much easier and quicker way is to look, get down into position and actually keep your left eye open, and then actually to use just your left eye to actually look and follow the lamp. And then when you actually want to take the shot or look through the scope, just close the left eye and you should basically be lined up with what you want to shoot. Another technique that works well for some people is to actually look at the muzzle of the rifle over the top of the scope of the gun and put the muzzle on what you want to shoot or want to look at, and then without moving yourself, just lift the gun up into position. So you go from looking over the top of the gun to just bringing the gun up. The scope should now be lined up.
Roy's never told us that. He's so selfish. Right, foxes. Bob gets set up on the bonnet and Roy finds a nice spot to cover the valley below. We have a customer. And thanks to Chris's top tips, Bob knocks it down.
We're back up on the fields, up on the lambing fields, and we just had a Charlie come in on the second squeak of the night, and we're actually out tonight with an American friend of Chris's who wishes to remain anonymous, so you're going to see him blanked out, but it's the first time that he's actually been out lamping, and the first time he's actually been predator calling as well. We needed to come here just to try and polish off the rest of the foxes in the lambing fields, and we had a perfect response there, and he executed an absolutely spot on shot as well. So fox came in far enough down into the valley that it had a perfect backstop, and he made a great shot on it. So we'll go and pick that one up, and hopefully we'll find a few more.
We discover it's a female. She's in milk and is not looking in top shape. It's never a good scenario, but foxes are still killing lambs here.
So unfortunately that was a vixen that's got cubs, and it's not a nice thing to have to do. So hopefully what we'll do is we'll have a look around tomorrow and see if we can find the earth and see if we can count for the cubs as well, because it's not nice leaving cubs. The truth be known, this time of year the cubs are probably on enough anyway, more than likely going to be on solids, so the dog fox is more than capable of feeding them. But it's always nice if you do shoot a milky vixen to try your hardest to try and locate the cubs and dispatch them as well. Yeah, she's not exactly a pretty beast.
On with our night, and for the first time ever, Roy's calling brings in a young badger to within a few yards. Here it is after retreating. Our next fox nearly has the better of us. He's on the move, but Bob gets his second of the night. The 243 makes a big impression. So far we have risen above making any reference to Americans or horses' bottoms and banjos, but Roy can't help it. A little something slips out.
We won't talk about American shot placement, and that they just seem to appear to be aiming for the big middle. We won't talk about that at all, David. No.
At least it gives us a reason to talk about bullet choice.
Okay, all right, let's be sensible about this. with that one, the shot was a little bit far back. But again, this is the good thing with the rounds that we use when we're foxing. That was a 55 grain ballistic tip on that one? Yeah. So that was a 55 grain ballistic tip out of a 243. And when they hit a fox, even though that was pretty far back, it is incredibly lethal. It's over and done with. So the shock, the hydrostatic shock that it gives off, and just the way that the bullet performs, just makes such a mess that even as I say, even though it was a little bit far back off the vitals, it was pretty much game over, instant lights out.
Only 2 foxes for us tonight, and Bob did well for a first timer. No matter what anyone says, lamping foxes is an art, and Americans are really getting the hang of art. Now we just got to get them to like tea. Good shooting there, and Roy now calls badgers. Please tell us if you have successfully called a badger. Now someone of the wrong stripe. It's David Wright on the Fieldsports channel News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. 2 Russian models want to stop hunting by posing with a bear in their pants. Maria Sidorova and Lydia Fetisova get scarily close to an 18-year-old 650-kilogram brown bear named Stepan. Maria told reporters she was sure that the bear would not intentionally injure her. The 2 political parties most in favour of fox hunting are trying to woo wavering voters in the UK general election on the 7th of May. UKIP's Nigel Farage has spoken on his programme about repealing the ban on hunting with hounds, but his manifesto doesn't mention it. The Conservative Party has gained the support of the election canvassing group Vote OK, which has asked Hunt supporters to give up 12 hours before the election to drop leaflets for Conservatives only in marginal seats. The UK's newest airgun competition launches this weekend at the Lee Valley Gun Club. The organisers, including our own Roger Lake, says it's about encouraging people to get stuck in and enjoy competitive shooting in a relaxed atmosphere. For more information, go to hftmasters.net. There's going to be a new gun dog competition at the CLA Game Fair. The Mitsubishi Motors Estate Challenge is being launched at the fair, held this year at Harewood House near Leeds in Yorkshire, from Friday the 31st of July until Sunday the 2nd of August. It's open to any estate to showcase their team of gamekeepers and picker-uppers with gun dogs of any variety, pedigree or not. For early bird Game Fair tickets at 15% off gate price, go to bit.ly/2015 Game Fair. And finally, here's a wild goose chase with a turkey twizzle. A gobbler that took up residence in a Canadian university was chased off by local Canada geese and, unusually for a turkey, took off, crashing through the window of an empty philosophy seminar room. Unscathed and undeterred, it stayed on campus, and the University of Waterloo near Toronto, nervous of further goose attacks, produced a goose watch map so students could avoid the angry birds. The story took a twist last week, however, when the turkey was found dead in a quad, apparently killed by the geese. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.
Thank you, David. Now, a few weeks ago, you may remember I went to the UK Catapult Association Championship, where Gamekeeper John very kindly donated a Gamekeeper John Pocket Poacher and Milbro, a Milbro Pocket Predator, for a prize draw. More than 100 of you entered, split about 50-50 each way, so they're both equally popular. Now, I have, because I'm that sort of interesting person, put all your names onto my phone on the spreadsheet, and I'm going to scroll down and pick a winner like that. The winner of the Milbro is Josh Armstrong. Josh Armstrong says, Milbro, please. And the winner of the Gamekeeper John is... Fergus Cross. Fergus Cross says, Gamekeeper John, please. So, Josh, Fergus, they'll be heading your way. I'll be contacting you for your addresses. Next up, let's see what you lot have been up to. It is Hello, Charlie.
Lamping Foxes weekend at Captain Park.
Hello, Charlie!
Hello Charlie, it's Dave. I've got my DPM on right now, waiting on a pigeon. We've got the Crossman Phantom Mark II here. It's a really nice gun.
Hello Charlie, my name's Robert and I'm from East Ayrshire and I'm fishing the river doing woohoo!
Hello Charlie, Wayne here, sunny West Yorkshire. Only been here 10 minutes, have a look at this. Not bad so far.
Hello Charlie, Matt here from New Zealand in the Raw, and just picked up a nice little 8-point stag. Keep up the good work. Cheers.
That's it. Please send me your Hello Charlies via Facebook, YouTube, Dropbox or email charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. Thank you for those. Please keep them coming. Now let's get techie. It is Gun Week. I've been on a tour of the south of England looking at what's coming out from makers such as AYA, Browning, Winchester and Blaser. First stop, Bisley, where the men who dispatch injured deer are getting a consignment of rifles. On the continent, the people and dogs who follow up injured boar and deer are taken very seriously. Here is Andrew Venables from the Blaser Academy, who organised this training day.
We're here at the British Sporting Rifle Club to do fast shooting at relatively close range on moving targets. We've got Blaser Sporting, who are going to be here with the UK deer tracking people with the rifles they've handed them to. Our function on the Blaser Academy is we've been lucky enough to be appointed as the only non-German facet of the Blaser Academy based in Germany, and it's designed to promote excellence with Blaser rifles.
Blaser has short-barrelled rifles specially designed for tracking work, which it is donating to British deer trackers.
More and more people are involved in tracking the wounded deer. Here we have like 3 rifles, Blaser R8's professional and professional success tracking, which are much shorter than normal barrels.
Is there a culture of tracking deer and boar in Croatia, where you're from?
It is. I mean, basically it's one of the basic things for any of us who are shooting anything but birds. Short barrels are very handy and very popular in Europe.
It's not all about the rifles. For the trackers themselves, they may have to cope with members of the public and even the police before they follow and dispatch an injured wild animal.
That's been the hardest part, is trying to educate the police as well.
Yes, particularly it seems to be, what do we do? They don't really know.
They don't seem to understand what we're actually trying to achieve, and it's very hard, not just educating your FEO, but the local person on the street. We're going to colleges and, like I say, going around the country just trying to educate and help train people to train their dogs.
Are you deadly competitors?
No.
No competition.
There is no competition.
Both of these organisations get the thumbs up from Blaser.
But the UK deer tracking people are in situations where they need a light, fast, handy and overall safe rifle. They can carry it on their back, you know it's never going to go off accidentally, but it can be ready to go. If you think about it, deer stalking in the UK, whilst it's been going on in Scotland for a long time, in the south of the country deer were pests. Now they've become a hopefully revered game species. But when it all goes wrong, and if you stalk and hunt enough, it will go wrong. To know that people at the skill level of these people with these fantastically trained dogs can be phoned up, they'll give up their spare time, drive halfway across the country to help you find a deer you've wounded is a marvellous safety net for hunters and stalkers in the UK.
So in cash terms, Tomo, how much are you bunging the trackers? Come on, everyone wants to know.
It's been generous. It means that we are doing really well, I would say.
For more about UK Deer Track and Recovery, go to ukdeertrackandrecovery.co.uk, and for the United Kingdom Scent Hound Association, visit uksha.co.uk. Now, game shooters look sharp. I'm off to High Lodge Shooting Ground in Suffolk to meet the man responsible for AYA in the UK. Edward King, doyen of the gun trade, is also one of the most entertaining people you can go shooting with, and he has this to say about the wood in the new AYA shotgun he is selling.
The forests were certainly laid waste to. This is all selected quality walnut, and as we all know, most of the really good walnut now comes from Turkey or slightly further afield. Armenia produces quite a lot of good walnut now. So yes, they have been particularly careful in their selection of walnut. It's fitting that a beautiful gun to mark an event such as the Centenary should be as nice as it can possibly be, and one of the areas of particular beauty in a shotgun, other than in the engraving, is the walnut. It's the most eye-catching thing, and it's the first kind of thing that you actually see. AYA gun makers, based in Spain as we all know, have been making guns now for 100 years. Started in 1915, and they decided to mark the centenary of their history by bringing out a one-off limited edition, brand new and unique model. So you've got beautiful engraving, selected wood, and a number of features from the number 1, but based on a number 2 action. It's available in 12, 16, 20, 28 and 410 caliber. The gun itself is a combination of features from the number 1, which is the absolutely top gun, and the number 2 deluxe. Why have we done it this way? AYA wanted to produce a model which fits nicely within the budget of its core follower, which is basically the number 2, but offer them something which is slightly special without forcing them to push themselves up as far as the number 1. That's for the 12 bore that I brought, and the 12 bore in square action. We happen to have here one I made earlier, so to speak, or they did, in the shape of the round body, or the round action. This one happens to be a 20 bore. It is a particular favourite of mine. I think that the round body in a 20 bore caliber looks particularly sleek and extremely elegant.
Well, as we all know, looks are all very well, but what is it like in action?
Okay, you pull it when you want. Now that wasn't too bad.
For more about the AYA, go to asi.co.uk. Next, it's back to Bisley. If you haven't been down to the shops recently, you won't know that gun prices are coming down hard with the landing gear dangling. Good news, hey? To find out more, I am at the annual Browning UK press launch. There is a long menu of guns and ammunition today, and the chef's special is the new high-rib 725 ProTrap. You may know the 725 family as Browning's workhorse sporting shotguns. Well, it is now moving in Olympic circles with both high and low ribs all fully adjustable and at prices that will make Browning aficionados squeak with lust and Krieghoff and Perazzi squeal in pain. If you want to see more about this gun and other new shotguns from Browning and Winchester, have a look at this week's Schools Challenge TV, where we have the 725 ProTrap high rib on test. Before we get on to this question of prices, it is a spring scorcher today, so what is Browning hoping to prove?
Yeah, what a cracking day. We've got some prominent UK journalists, you being one, Charlie, of course, and it's always good to have you and host you over at a venue somewhere in the UK. This year it's at Bisley, so we've got a lovely historic Bisley shooting ground here. The sun's shining, and I think everyone's had a cracking day.
Oh shucks, David. Who says the press are in the pocket of the gun trade? Now, in last week's Fieldsports Britain, we got sporting rifle expert Tim Pilbeam to tell us about the pluses and pitfalls of being a shooting journalist and what he thinks of Browning's new rifles, which, of course, he's already seen.
Well, today we've been looking at the Winchester and Browning new rifles coming out this year. The Browning Eclipse, which I talked about, very, very good. Loved it intensely. In fact, I do like it an awful lot. I think it'd be brilliantly popular in the UK for stalkers and fox shooters.
As well as the X-Bolt Eclipse priced at around £800, about £50 cheaper than the Forestry Commission's favourite Ticker, there are budget Browning and Winchester rifles coming out at even lower prices thanks to the continuing collapse of the euro.
The AB3, which is the next one on from the AB2, obviously, a few little changes. We've got a full dropout magazine, we've got new composite stock with a palm swell, and we've got the new Inflex Pad 2 system on the butt pad of the rifle, which makes it far more comfortable to shoot. It's a directional recoil pad. That's coming in at $499 retail this year in all the UK calibers, so 243, 308, 306 with a threaded barrel. We've got an XPR launch, which is a Winchester product. Very excited about that. That's coming in even cheaper actually, somewhere between £400 and £500 depending on the specification. And that's a cracking product. It's a very high quality product at a very low price with the Winchester badge, so it's a very accurate rifle and it's going to perform very well.
David reckons that there are two mainstream rifle markets in the UK, under £500 and over £1,400, which doesn't say much for his hopes for the Eclipse, whatever Tim may think of it. Shooting writer Jules Wicker from Gunmart is surprised and pleased.
My first centerfire rifle was a Savage 110, and I paid more for that new than these new Winchesters and Brownings are being offered. And these are more sophisticated rifles with more features. Their triggers are better. They're probably more accurate. So in 25 years, you have a better product at a lower price.
Tim reckons the reason is clear.
There's a lot of new people, entry level, a lot of people starting to use centerfire rifles in the UK. Is it their first rifle? The choice nowadays is fantastic. There's probably 6 different manufacturers who produce rifles under £500. Do they start with that rifle, or does the gamekeeper have that rifle because it's a go-to rifle? If it's worn out, you can get a new one. And and then do they progress onto the mid-range ones? But the market is sub 500 at the moment, which is brilliant. And if you look at it, value for money, they shoot well, they operate well, and with a moderator, I think they're just brilliant rifles to use. And so perhaps that's why there's a growth market there for them.
Well, the choice is ultimately yours, the shooter. For more about the Browning and Winchester ranges, go to browning.eu. Now, from techie trade stuff to the wider world of hunting and shooting on YouTube, it is Hunting YouTube. This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. First up, an apology. I had to clean the fuel filter on my chainsaw this week, and it reminded me that I should check the spam filter in my YouTube messages. A lot of Hunting YouTube submissions caught up in it, the spam folder, not my chainsaw. So here is a selection, starting with Brent Norbury, who has a new trailer out for one of his hunting films called Cervus and Vulpes. It will be a year of him stalking deer and foxes around his home in Galloway. Now, it's films like this that make me think Australian foxes are easy. Aussie staghounds calls in a fox without a whistle, and the dogs do the rest. Next, a spot of charity. The 2015 Peterson Outdoors Wounded Warrior Goose Hunt ended well on the bank of a small loafing pond. Geese with full stomachs came gliding in, and 3 wounded warriors had the hunts of their lifetimes. Craigie Yacht is enjoying crow shooting in Denmark. He is luring them in using a decoy owl, and, crows being crows, he is carefully hidden. Also in a hide, also in Scandinavia, Mikko Timonen is pigeon shooting in Finland. That big cloud makes the scene. Pretot Hunting sends in its video about Maral deer in Kazakhstan. It is a 2-week trek on horses in the Tian Shan mountains looking for those big animals. Pretot consists of 2 brothers, Vincent and Fabian, passionate about hunting since they were young. In the Zone, Hunting Productions puts forward the first episode of its African hunting show for Hunting YouTube, and what a great future they have. Good filming. I hope they stay with it. YouTube is still the best party in town. And finally, Classic Bow Hunt suggests its film from the Fred Bear archive showing tiger hunting with a recurve bow. Unlikely to win an award from the Humane Society, this is an extraordinary hunting tale. That's it for this week. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, send it in via YouTube. Yes, really, I will read them this time, or email me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. If you don't like those, have a look at Airheads. In our latest show, Darren is shooting on a new permission known as Rabbit Hill with his new FAC FX. We look at rifle stocks, and the choice has never been greater. We have all the airgun news with hot air and the best of the rest with air streaming. Click on the link to watch it. Well, we are back next week. Thank you for watching. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Please go to our website, fieldsportschannel.tv, where you can click to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or pop your email address into our constant contact box. We will constantly contact you about Fieldsports Britain. It's at 7 PM UK time every Wednesday. This has been Fieldsports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.